Everybody, it's Robin. I want to do a review of your wedding day. It's kind of a review of everything you need to keep in mind and to remember going on to your first job. Once you do one or two of these, this will be kind of second nature, but if it's your first one, this would be a good thing to review. So the first thing I want to talk about are the things you want to prepare before you get there. And the first thing you want to do is go to the event page of your event and find the schedule and print it. Here's what it looks like printed, okay? So once you print it out, you'll see every service listed, what time it's at, where it's at. It lists exactly what time every service should be at. You should know that what you see on your account page in the form of a schedule and that main details page, your bride has exactly the same view. So they have this same schedule, so they have been made aware of this as well. Okay, so print that out and take it with you. If you don't want to print it or you can't print it, at least make sure that it's accessible on your phone very easily and have that ready to go when you get there, because it'll be your tool for staying on time that day. It's also a great tool if you have this, that if you have brides or, if you have participants on here who add things like airbrush or false eyelashes on the day of, that you can make notes on here of who owes you money, because you have to collect for any service that is added on wedding day that was not originally on the schedule. Okay, anything that's on the schedule, you don't have to collect for. Which brings me to my second part of wedding day. Once you get there on wedding day, one other thing first. If you're the lead, I think it'd be a really good idea that you shoot an email to any other artists who are on the event as well and just kind of check in with them. If nothing else, just to introduce yourself if you haven't met before, or share with them any information you've received from the bride as far as what hotel room it is, or if there's details about where to park, how to park. But you have the email to any artist that is assigned the event with you is located also in the event detail, or I believe it's located at the end of the bottom of the schedule. Yeah, at the bottom of the schedule. So this is what the bottom of your schedule ends up looking like. It lists all the artists. The artist with the star next to it is the lead. There's phone numbers there and email addresses. I take those phone numbers with you or put them in your phone so that you know you can get a hold of each other if you have any questions, or you're getting lost on the day of or running late, anything like that. Make sure that you guys have touch base and started an initial connection with each other. Okay, so check in with the other artists on the job. Also print out the schedule prior to wedding day. All right. Once you are there on wedding day, it's important to know that you don't have to collect any money unless services are added that day, meaning they're not on the schedule. If there are services not on the schedule that either bridesmaids or additional people come in and want services, you have to then charge for those. To be honest, it really doesn't matter how you collect the money. You can collect it any way you want to. What I suggest you do is use the Square app that you're supposed to have on your phone and take a credit card. That is the most secure way to make sure you're going to get payment. You can also take cash, but then you're going to have to then use the Square app to pay me to get that cash into my account. This is the Square app. This is what it should look like on your phone, and I'm showing you this because it says Create a Beauty Agency at the top. Okay, that's what the Square app should look like when you're collecting for any services on wedding day. You never collect for preview services at a preview service. We can always take care of that for you. The only time you ever need to collect is on wedding day if they add services, and you should do it through this Square app here that you should have on your phone. If you don't have this, let me know and I'll help get it hooked up for you. I'm showing you that Square app because some of you have your own Square app on your phone. Make sure you're not collecting it into your own account. Make sure you're collecting it into the Create a Beauty Agency account. That ensures that it goes into my bank. Therefore, when it's time to pay you, I have the money in which to pay you with. Okay? So if you have any questions about that Square app or it's confusing, call me. I can explain it to you, no problem. So make sure you have your Square app ready to go on wedding day as well. Now, what I was saying about collecting, you can collect it in the form of cash, check, credit card, however you want to collect it. We have communicated to the bride that we only take credit cards, okay? If you want to take a check, you can take a check. But if that check bounces, I don't cover you. And if that check bounces and you collect it for me, you're still going to have to owe me. So anyway, what I would say is credit cards, cash only. Okay. For those of you who add on, the typical add-on services on wedding day are usually airbrush or false eyelashes. If you add those on wedding day, you need to charge the correct amount for them, which is all the prices are on these cards. Some of you have been with me for a while are under the impression that these cards are outdated because we raised our prices. We didn't raise our prices. I started paying you more, but I didn't raise the prices to the customer. I just started paying all of you more. So these cards, you need to be using these. These are accurate. These are real. These are the real prices. So these are the prices you should be going by when quoting prices of services on wedding day. The other key element to that is you have to charge 18% gratuity on this price. So for example, you see a price here of updo $75. If you add an updo on wedding day, you tell them that it's $75 plus the agency also adds 18% gratuity. When you go to charge them for it, to know what to charge, if you look in your manual, and I'd suggest you all print this out so you have it. If you look in your manual, the very last page has a cheat sheet. That cheat sheet is specifically for you to know what the price of services are with 18% gratuity added. So you don't have to do any math that day. I suggest you cut this out, laminate it, keep it in your kit so that you have it. So for example, someone walks in and decides they want to have an updo. You have to decide if you have time for it and you want to make it work. If you do, totally up to you. You have to charge $75 plus the 18% gratuity that's on that cheat sheet. So the total amount would be $75 plus 18% gratuity is $88.50, I think. Yes, $88.50. Okay? That's what you would charge. When you go into your Square app, you'll then put in the amount of $88.50. I recommend that you do not put in $75 and try to add a gratuity amount. Just put in the total amount, $88.50. Send it off, charge them that amount. If you try to put it in gratuity separately, it's more difficult with the Square app because they usually only do percentages or it gets a little confusing. So just put the total amount. That's why I give you the total amount there. It's important you collect the correct total amount when it goes into my account because I will look at that before I then pay you for that service. And if you didn't collect the full amount, you won't get your full amount. You'll get a percentage less. So if you forget to add gratuity and you only charge $75, the amount that you normally get paid will be that same percentage less. Okay? Things like airbrush, false eyelashes, tattoo cover-up, and hair extension placement. Those are 4 services that I really don't take a commission off of. I charge a fee for processing it. All that means is that on wedding day, if you add any of those 4 services, feel free to charge whatever you want. The amount is written right here on the cheat sheet, so you can charge that or less if you want to. It's totally up to you because it's your time. All right? But for those 4 services, airbrush, tattoo cover-up, hair extension placement, and lashes, charge whatever you want because you can actually just take cash and keep it and you don't have to claim that with me. The only reason I have a fee associated to those 4 services are if you run it through, if it runs through my system, I need to take a little bit to cover processing fees and costs. So on wedding day, if any of those 4 services are added, you don't have to worry about claiming it with me. Charge however you want to charge, collect however you want to collect. But if you do any of these services, these other services, you must collect and you must make sure I get paid for them as well. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. So I should talk to you about the Square Up app. Make sure you have that and have access to it so that you can charge for services on that. If it doesn't work, just make sure, the one thing to take away from this little video clip, if nothing else, on wedding day, the main thing to make sure, if you forget everything else, is if you add any services that are not on the schedule, if you add any services that are not on the schedule, make sure you charge for it. Make sure you get money for it. If you want to take cash, and then you can figure it out with me later. But don't leave without collecting the money because I can't go get it after the event's over. So if a service is not on the schedule, that means it has not been paid for. So if you do it, make sure you collect for it. And you're collecting for both of us. You're collecting the money that's going to pay your fee as well as pay my fee. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's about all I have right now. So on wedding day, make sure you have those things put together and you're prepared. Make sure you're arriving early enough to be starting on time. We never, ever, ever want to be the cause of getting behind on schedule. If they have clients that come in a little bit late, it's up to you to talk to the bride about what you will or will not have time to accomplish. If they show up late, you reserve the right to kind of say, I can't get her done in this time frame. Check with the lead, and then the lead should check with the bride or whoever's coordinating to see, okay, just so you know, the bridesmaid came in a little bit late. We won't be able to get her done on the scheduled time. That means it's going to push everybody else back. Just be communicating what you can and cannot do. If someone comes in an hour later and you actually can't stay an hour later, you can communicate that to them. We've charged for it, and you are going to get paid for it. They need to be there on time. If they're not, they risk losing out on that. You stay as long as you can, as long as you want to, but you are not required to stay an extra hour because someone walked in an hour late and still expects their service. Do it if you can. If you can't, you can't. Just make sure you communicate it clearly to the bride or whoever the contact is. And then lastly, on wedding day, the most important thing is that we walk away with the bride and all participants loving us. So do whatever you can, whatever it takes to make them happy on wedding day, because their feedback and their reviews are what dictate our future business. With that said, I don't want anybody taken advantage of or treated poorly. And like I said, if they're running late and you can't stay to do the job, I don't expect you to stay. What I do expect you to do is to communicate it in the most polite, professional way possible, being sympathetic to it. But if you can't stay, you can't stay. And I'll support that. Okay, that's it. Be prepared for wedding day. Good luck, folks. And always have my phone number on tap. If you're running late in the morning or if something comes up, always, always, always call me. If you need to get a hold of me right away, text or call. I stay connected to my phone all the time. Do not email me last minute urgent questions or concerns, okay? Text message, phone. All right? Thanks. See ya.